We are talking of object snaps, right? You have seen that object snaps, Minu, how it looks like. This is how it looks like, right? There are various features in it. Clear नहीं है थोड़ा सा, है? देखो तो जरा, ये अपने को ऐसे दिख रहा है. Clear है? Okay. So what is the function of the object snap? Object snaps are essential to specifying precise locations on objects, right? Just like your endpoints. When you are drawing the lines, you have to pick the endpoints. So for that, you are using, or sometimes you have to use the midpoint of the line or intersection points like that. Right? You can use object snaps to create a line to the center of a circle or to the midpoint of another point. This is auto snap. Right? When you press it, auto snap, all the features are automatically on. Mr. Hardev Singh has told you that this box works by toggle switch. Means when you press it once, it ons, and when you press it, it is off. Right? Now let us go to the one by one. We will see that what are the features. The first one is endpoint. Right. Endpoint, I think you have explained already. Is it clear, or somebody is that what is the endpoint? The endpoint is the line, is the endpoints of the line. Right. There are two endpoints of a line. Right. They can be picked up by this option. The second option is your midpoint. Midpoint can be of okay, this is the endpoint. The snap is used to get to the exact endpoint of a line, arc, or any other object that has a definite ending to it, right? And this is the on your left hand side. This is the, you can see, this is the symbol for endpoint, right? Then midpoint. This is used to find the exact middle of any object that has a beginning and an end, right? Suppose the length of a line is 6 centimeters, then its midpoint will be at 3 centimeters. Okay. All lines and arcs have a midpoint. Similarly, arcs has also a midpoint, and the circle also have a center, but it doesn't have a midpoint. For that, for getting the midpoint of a circle or in part of that, means of arc, you have to first divide the circle into arcs or number of segments, right? Then there is a center point. The center point is used to find the exact center of circles, arcs, and ellipses. Sometimes you have to start the line from the center point or any other entity. So at that time it is used, right? Then there are nodes. What are those nodes? They are created using the point command, right? They are also created when an object is divided. What could be the example of this is? Anybody else here? Okay, a circle can be divided into any number of segments. Let us say a circle is divided into 4 quadrants. So it will be, there will be 4 nodes at 0 degree, 90 degree, 180 degree, and 360 degree. Sorry, 270 degrees. Like that, if you divide it into 8 points, then it will be first at 45 degrees, then 90 degrees, and then addition of 45 degrees. Yes. Any number, you can divide the circle into any number of segments. For that, nodes are used. Then there are quadrants. Quadrants, if you don't want to divide the circle and go directly, then the quadrant is used. Right? A circle is automatically divided into 4 quadrants. Then this is, next is your intersection. Intersection can be of any two objects. It may be a line, it may be a circle, or it may be an arc. Okay? Any combination of all these items. Then there is an insertion point. The insertion or snap will snap to the insertion of points of objects such as blocks, text, and attributes. Each object will be different depending upon how it was created. That is the insertion point, or you can say that the point at which you want to insert something. It is better that we will give the demonstration when we are in some command we will use, in some drawing we will use it, right? Then there's a perpendicular. Yeah, the name itself is clear that this is a perpendicular. When you want to draw the perpendicular line to any line or circle or arc, then you can use it. Then there is a tangent. If you want to draw a tangent line to a circle or an arc, then you can use this. Right? It picks up the point where that entity will be tangent. Then there is a something called nearest. Suppose you don't have these something you want to draw which doesn't fall in all these categories, then you will pick up the nearest point from where you, this is by approximation method, you can say. Right? Then there is one more thing. There is apparent intersection. There is no intersection between the lines or between the two entities, but there is an apparent intersection. Means if we extend those entities or one of them, then they will intersect at some point in the space, and we want to pick up that point, right? So we will use apparent intersection of those two entities. Okay, so this was about the object snap. Now let us start with our new command. What is that? Next, where will be? 10. Okay, we will start with the modify commands. Under the modify category, one more thing. Have you explained this Cartesian systems and all? Huh?
On workspace, I just explained.
Okay. No, but is it clear? Okay. Before we proceed further, yesterday we have talked about the Cartesian systems, right? Is it clear? The coordinates. Anybody having any question on this coordinate system? From any of the centers? Then only we will proceed further. Is it clear to all? Since there is no question from anybody else, I suppose that this is clear to all, right? Okay, fine. Okay. Yes. Okay, Gate College, do you want to say something?
No, sir, it's clear.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So we'll now do the modify commands. This is your this is your toolbar. Under the modify, right? Okay, one minute. Or shall we do it from? Have you told this erase, copy, mirror, offset?
Yes, yeah, I told it is not offset.
अच्छा, erase. बाकी सारी होगी ड्रॉ में. ड्रॉ में. सर्कल हो गई. एंड डोनट. डोनट नहीं हुई है. Okay, let us first complete the draw command, draw menu over. We'll see the donut and spline, I think. Yeah. Spline is already covered. नहीं हुई. Spline. Okay, spline will also cover. Then ellipse. Ellipse भी हो गई. Okay. Right. So let us start with the donut. Donut is nothing but the torus shape you see. That is the shape of a, you can say, tube. Cycle tube, your car tire tube. That is the shape. Basically, it is a 3D object, but when drawn in 2D, it will first ask you that what is the inside diameter. Are you able to see this, or shall I use PPT? मुझे लगता है PPT यूज करना ज्यादा ठीक रहेगा. हैं?
PPT.
ड्रॉ कौन आ गई. डोनट कन्वर्ट करनी पड़ेगी. नहीं हो जाएगी. ओपन विद आ रहा है. एक मिनट देख लेते हैं. ओपन विद आ रहा है. आ गया. ओपन विद नहीं आ रहा. कन्वर्ट करनी पड़ेगी. अच्छा, उसने एक्शन फालतू में लगा दिया सब में.
नहीं, वो अपग्रेडेड कर दिया.
So we can say that donuts are filled rings or solid filled circles that are actually closed polylines with width, right? To create a donut, specify its inside and outside diameters and its center. So you have to take care of the three things, that is inside diameter, outside diameter, and its center point where you want to put it. To create a solid filled circles, specify an inside diameter of 0. Right? These are the entities, some of the entities which are made by donut. The spot of here it is created by donut, and these are the various donuts for creating the, on your left hand side, the filled rings, we can say they are the donuts, and this is the PCB structure made by drawing. A donut consists of two arc polylines that are joined end to end to create a circular shape. Right? This red circle is your donuts. When you give a donut command, it will ask you inside diameter, specify the inside diameter of the donut, right? And specify the outside diameter. This is what we are mean by inside and outside diameter, right? And the center of the 1 and 2 are the center of the donuts. These are the locations. Here in this case, the inside diameter is 1 and the outside diameter is 2. So it will create a torus of, we can say, 1 centimeter or 1 unit, which is having the center at 0.3. Okay, let us draw it first in the drawing. In the draw, we will go and give the command donut, right? And then it is asking me the inside diameter of the donut, and by default it is 0.5. Let us say I make it 2 and press enter. Then again it is asking that what is the outside diameter of the donut, and by default it is 1, showing me 1. I will make it 4 and press enter. And then it is asking me that what should be the specify the center point. Center point I can give by any of the method, by either by picking on the screen or by giving the coordinates in either in absolute. Let us say we give it in absolutes 12, 15 and press enter. So you can see a donut is made here. ये पूरा full screen है? Okay, ठीक. And again we can make it is again the command is not yet over. Okay, you have to press enter, or you can, if you want to repeat a donut, then you can pick up the points, next points. Now let us give these points in relative mode. All right. So from this point, we want to draw a donut which is at a distance of, again, let us say 12. So what is the syntax? We will write at the rate, let us say 12, x direction is 12 and y direction is, what was that, 15. Okay, so we'll again press enter and a donut is made at a distance of 12, 15 with respect to the previous donut, right? So this is by relative. This relative can also be given in polar mode. See, if you see it, this is made at a approximately, you can say, 45-degree angle, right? Let us say we continue with it at 45. Then again we give at the rate, distance was 12 and by and angle is 45 degrees. Now do you need a comma in between or not? Yeah? The syntax is without comma, angle, right? So see, again it is formed at a distance of 12 and 45 degree, but now I can see that it is quite near to it. Why is it so? Earlier the distance is, I can say the earlier distance is approximately, it is not at 12. Earlier we have given by coordinate, so it was, the distance was more It was the resultant of 12 and 15. But now it is an aerial distance which is 12. Shortest distance is here 12. And angle it has made at 45 degrees. So I think by this you must be more clear about the relative and polar Cartesian system. Okay, then anywhere if I want, I can pick, right, the donuts. I can pick it. I have picked the point here. I can pick anywhere else, wherever I want, right? Okay, you can practice it later on, and I press enter, and the command is over. Now, if I pick on the screen, it is no more giving donut. Now there are so many entities on the screen. I want to remove this, and what could be the method? It can be either by delete, not by region also, but then that whatever I have made, that will be there. Let us do region first. Let us see the difference. Regenerate. By region command, the entities which I have made, they are still there. Only the things which were your rub marks. Just like when you are drawing on the paper, sometimes your pencils gets by mistake it gets some marks on it, right? So those are erased by region command, not by. Suppose you want to delete it, then you can do it by either by picking one by one. Let us say I have picked this. See, the color is changed, right? And that is the grips are on. And I can, from the keyboard, I can press delete and it will go. Or suppose now there are so many, I don't want to do one by one, picking one by one and erase them. Yeah? So I can use the command erase, right? And the option all. But it has not done. Then again it is asking, you have to see the command prompt, what it is asking. It is asking that erase select objects. So you have to give yes or no. So enter. Okay, right, it is gone. Or I can do, suppose by mistake I have to keep one or two, and by mistake I have cleared all and erased all the things. Then what I can do is your undo command, right? Undo, or it is also known as oops command. By default it will erase the last action, you can say. So those donuts are come back. These I can pick all the donuts in one time, also in one go, you can say, by selecting a window, right? Let us give the erase command first. Erase. I have given erase. Select all objects. I will say W, window. Now it is asking specify first corner. Now I pick from my left hand side, right? I start a window from here and pick it like this, so that the last object is half selected, right? So I make this window, okay? So you can see that the two objects are selected and the third one is not selected. Yeah? And now I press enter. The two objects are gone which were selected. Right? This is called your normal window. And there is one more method by which you can pick the window from right to left. Let us do undo again. This time I will pick from right hand side to and proceed to the left hand side. Right? Then again I give erase. It is asking select objects. I will say window. Right? And pick the point. Started picking the point. This is crossing. No? Right. Now again चल के सेटिंग है CW है क्यों आजकल उससे भी ओके let us say erase command erase select objects crossing window enter now you can see that the 3 points are picked even though this object was half selected right then you press it is saying that 3 are found right and enter all the 3 are gone so this is your crossing window in earlier versions it was if you pick it from right to left it is crossing window but in this version you have to write the CW for crossing window command right okay what was our next in draw command what was left spline
Ellipse and spline.
okay this is your ellipse and it is by center by 3 methods you can draw it by center axis and arc right let us see in the first by PowerPoint file open desktop पे थी ना draw कौन सी थी ellipse ना ये तो ओपन ही होगी ओके so this is a ellipse so how will you define an ellipse ellipse is defined by its 2 axes major axis and minor axis right so on the right hand side you can see the definition of a major axis and minor axis right whatever axis is bigger in size or in length you can say that is your major axis and whatever is small that becomes your minor axis this is the midpoint of the first axis and the endpoints of the first axis like this right and let us see now that how it is drawn when the first axis as major axis then the ellipse will be drawn like this. Right? And if you choose that the first axis is a minor axis, then the result will be on the right hand side like this. Okay. But what is the procedure? You have to pick the first point as 1. 1 is the first point, 2 is the second point, and the third point is okay. This is the procedure 1, 2, 3. This is the command and icon. By default, the first 2 points of the ellipse determines the location and length of the first axis. The third point determines the distance between the center and the of the ellipse and the end point of the second axis. Right. This is how an ellipse is made. 1 and 2 becomes the your major axis, and the distance 2 to 3. The vertical distance between 2 and 3 becomes the your minor axis, half of the minor axis, you can say. Right? When you go for this command, what it asks you, these are the point axis endpoints. You have to pick the first point, and then the second point, and then the distance to the other axis. These are the 3 things it will ask. Then one more field it will ask is rotation. This will be clear when we draw it. This is another method, that how to draw an ellipse by a rotation method. An elliptical arc can also be created by this method, right? Okay, let us quickly go to the first. We'll draw the simple ellipse, and then we'll come back to the elliptical arc. Right? Delete in here. So we're talking of ellipse, how to make it. Let us go to the draw ellipse, then by center method. Let us see what it is asking. Ellipse, specify center of the ellipse. Let us say I pick a point here. So this is, now it is asking specify end point of axis. Means this will become your either major axis or minor axis, or minor. It can be any of the axis, right? So I have picked this one, right? Specify distance to the other axis or rotation. Okay? Let us say whether I want to make it a minor axis or a major axis. It all depends on how you put it, right? Let us say this is the way it is made. Let us repeat the command. Again, I pick one point and another point, second point. But I want this to be a minor axis, right? So I will do this, right? Like this, you can make
What about rotation?
rotation. Yes.
We not completing it. We going for
Okay, the rotation method. This is by rotation only. Okay. If you see it in the command mode, that is in parenthesis. So this is by default, whatever it is. Okay? This is by rotation method only, that we have rotated it, right? In 2D, you can rotate it like this. Then let us go to the other option, axis and end. Yeah?
Axis and
Yeah.
one axis, 1 and 2, 3 and 4 point.
Okay. Yeah. Mr. Hidaypal will explain to you, right? He will demonstrate you how. Okay. You please come.
Good morning, friends. Go to the draw command, go to the ellipse. The second is axis and end. Here first the axis end point of the ellipse. Select first point, select second point, then half one axis point of the minor axis or major axis. I repeat this, in this axis of I make two lines with the help of ortho, make a straight line. Now go the O snap, go the setting, select midpoint, then line, choose midpoint with the help of ortho, make this line. After that, go to the draw command and go to the ellipse. Select first axis, start point, end point, then second axis, end point. After that, elliptical arc, specify the axis end point, first point, then specify the axis other end point. Now select the minor, select the point from where we need the arc, start point and end point. In this, first we select the axis of the ellipse. Like normal axis ellipse, make half distance of minor axis, and after that the ellipse start point and end point. After that, we go to the spline, fit points and control vertices. Fit points are the points which are on the curve. Spline is a line which is continuous and tangent, always continuous and tangent. enter, its line can be entered. Select the line. The points are on the curve. This is a control fit points. But when we take a control points, enter. In control points, see the difference. In fit points, the points are on the curve. In control points, the points control the curve. Mostly we use spline for surfacing. Now our next command is trim. This is first, before trim we are talk about polyline. In first lecture we go to use a line command. In line command I made a rectangle. I select them. These all select one by one, but in polyline, draw a line. If we select one line, the whole element can be selected, whole entity can be selected. But when we select this triangle with the which are made with the help of line, it select one by one. The polyline is a closed. This is a closed entity which rectangle is made by polyline. This is a open entity. Now we use trim command. First we make a rectangle. Then made lines. Now use trim command. The shortcut key is TR double enter. Sorry, TR enter. After that, in command line, it's select the object. We need to select all. Then enter. Here the option is select all. After that, select the line. This line going to be trimmed. But not in a end, because it's trimmed like a trimming. When we use a scissor to trim the hair, or it's trimmed like a scissor. But here no further line is here. That's why the last line can left. Again, go to the modify command, go to the trim command, select all, then trim, starting a trim from this corner to this, starting this corner to this line. हम जिसको सिलेक्ट करते जाएंगे वो ट्रिम होता रहेगा. आखिरी में वो बचेगा जिसको हम इसको सिलेक्ट कर सकते हैं, बट इसके आगे कोई लाइन नहीं है, इसलिए ये ट्रिम नहीं हो पाएगा. तो इसको हम अरेज कमांड से अरेज कर देंगे. ई एंटर, select and erase. This is our trim command.
Thank you, Mr. Jassal. One thing I would like to share with you is that there can be various methods of drawing or using a command, right? everybody uses it in his own way, right? You can use the different commands by which you can get the different results, or by the same command you can get the different results. Yeah. Uh, for the explanation purpose, uh, I will give you another demonstration of the trim, how to use the trim command, right? So what are the important things in trimming? Let us take this example only. Okay? I will do undo and go to the first slide. Right? Undo. I think we have reached the first model. Now let us, by mistake I have gone one step backward. So then what I can do is redo. Right. So I have come to to this point. Let us say we want to keep the everything which is inside this rectangle, and we want to delete the entities which are outside this circle. Right? So we can use trim command. Right? In trimming an object, it is just like trimming the tree. So you will keep some portion of it, and you will cut some portion which is unwanted, right? So what you will do is, you have to decide first that how much portion you have to cut. For that, what you will decide is its boundary lines, right? So in trim command, you should first define the boundary lines, and then the objects which you want to trim, right? Mr. Pal Singh did it by selecting all the things at once and defining the boundary lines. As he is expert, he is using it daily. So the people who are very familiar with, and those who are working on the drawings daily, means those who are draftsmen or those who are practicing drafting, they can do it like this. But for understanding purpose, let us do it in this way. First, we'll go to the, as I am, you can say that we are seeing the AutoCAD classic version, and I am also from the classic versions of since my age, right? So I have used the AutoCAD version. I think I started with the AutoCAD release 10 when it was not window based. It was DOS based. At that time, I have used, so everything which I am used to it is by giving the commands first, right? Writing down the commands rather than picking up the points from the screen. So I will go to the draw. Sorry, modify, not to the draw, to the modify. Under modify, there is a command called trim. Right. So let us see what it is asking. It is saying trim select objects. Right. You have to select the objects which are to be trimmed. So in this case, I will select all the objects. I will select all the objects. Right. So I will make a window. So these all objects are now selected. Now it is asking select any other object. It is left? No. So I will put enter. Right. Now it is asking me the options: trim, fence, crossing, project, edge, erase, undo. So these are all by default method. Trim. एक ही बार एंटर किया, डबल एंटर हो गया, शायद कुछ गड़बड़ हो गई, डबल एंटर हो गया। एक मिनट फिर से कर लेते हैं। कैंसिल किया, फिर से ट्रिम कमांड कैंसिल। इसको रिपीट करने के लिए, कमांड को रिपीट करने के लिए आपको जस्ट फिर से एंटर करना पड़ेगा। सेलेक्ट ऑल, एंटर। अब इसमें पूछ रहा था मेरे से फेंस, क्रॉसिंग, प्रोजेक्ट, एज, राइट, इरेज, अंडू। आई हैव नॉट गिवन एनीथिंग एल्स, इट इज बाय एज। किसको? बाउंड्री एज, so I will write E
further command address. Simply select करके उसके बाद इसको select करेंगे, run होती है।
This is all selected.
अभी ट्रिम हो जाएगा मुझे।
हाँ अभी ट्रिम होएगा। कहाँ पर क्लिक करना है?
किसी भी लाइन।
Okay, what are the objects to be clicked? This is this one and this one. And this object and this object, this object, this object, and this object, this object, and the lower one, this object, this object, and this object, right? I press enter and it is done. So I have done it, all the erase, all the trimming in one go, okay? But I have also done some mistakes while doing, so I have to, so I was repeating the command, right? Mr. Hardapal has left some of the components, you can say, or the line doing, so he has done it by erasing that portion, right? So it is not very rigid that you have to do it by only one method only. It can be done by various commands can be used for doing the same operation, right? Like can we do by another method? Let us say we want to delete the other part.
Click on the icon and enter.
No, these are the methods of various methods of giving the command. There are the basically three methods, right? Either you can select from your drop down menu. This is called drop down menus, right? From toolbars or icons, or from your command line, right? So what is the time? 11:20. So now it is the time for tea break.